Hey everyone, I'm really excited today to do this talk with my partner Whitney. Um, this is a really exciting topic, and my mind is kind of like melting because a lot of good realizations have come to the forefront with this discussion we just had, and we would like to share that with you. It's not refined, it's raw, it's just what we've been talking about. Love to hear your thoughts and comments about this. But basically, we were discussing this idea of past lives. And if everything is happening now, they're essentially these parallel lives. But why do they affect us now? Why do certain ones affect us and maybe another one where you got shot, you're not even feeling? Okay, so what we've kind of come to the conclusion of is there is this dimensional bleed through where you're experiencing what you need from that other existence because it's lining up with something in your life right now. So many people get focused on all these other lifetimes and they really get sidetracked as to why they're here and what they're meant to be doing in this life because they're focused on their attentions on all these other existences, and that actually pulls them out from being present. Whitney, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I feel as like we kind of had this brilliant, I don't know, really like mind blowing discussion about past lives being looked at as parallel lives. And the way I kind of see it is like we're at a train station and we have a bunch of trains going, forward. And that's all of our lives, happening all at once simultaneously. And I think focusing on that brings it to the present, right? We're presently having these existences as opposed to keeping us trapped in the past of like what happened past there, what kept like, kind of reliving those instead of like bringing people and ourselves into the present. And then like you said, the bleed through happens, I feel, when the frequencies of that existence or lifetime matches up to what's happening in this one, right? And even our timeline now, what we're experiencing, it bleeds through onto other timelines of us. So I think it's important to kind of have that awareness so we can be helping our timelines, all of them, kind of simultaneously as they're playing out.
I agree with that. I've been fed kind of little nuggets along the way, so don't worry, I'll feed you baby birds. Okay, so one of the things that like really kind of helped me to start to have a grasp of this was Dolores Cannon's work. She did a bunch of books on the Nostradamus prophecies. And when she was doing them, it was explained to her that she was actually talking to him as he was writing them. So that event was happening as she was having these discussions with him in her hypnosis sessions. And so I was like, well, how can that be happening right now? And so, like, the books are being written in that timeline, but they're also into this timeline. And we were actually talking about this. So, maybe some of you have seen these, like, glitches in the Matrix where, what were some of them? Oh, like the Monopoly guy having a monocle or not. And those are actually becoming, like, parts of our reality, even though, like, I remember some of these things differently. And I would have lost a lot of these bets saying like, oh, this is the way it was, but you go to look it up and that didn't exist that way. So I think we're starting to have more of an awareness of these parallel dimensions and these parallel realities that are existing like simultaneously. One of the good analogies that I just heard as to what is this now moment? How can everything be happening at once? And the now moment is basically like an entire movie. So you have like, think about the old reel to reel movies where you had an entire film strip. Okay, so that's the now moment. What you're aware of in your present lifetime is where the light is going through that film strip. And that's kind of how it made sense to me. So all those things are already happening, they're already there, and those all represent the now moment. But what you're experiencing, what you're aware of, is only that little sliver of one frame at a time that you're getting. Mm. So that really helped me wrap my mind around some of the now stuff. One of like going through some of the sessions and some of the work that I do, I always in the back of my mind it was never answered as to, well, how come this person's affected now at this time in their life when um, I don't know, they'll have like a past life thing pop up for them or a parallel life thing pop up for them. Why now? Why does it pop up in their life now? it really didn't make any sense as to why sometimes things would happen like when they're born or it happened at random times throughout their life. And I just did one this week and everything just like came on full force from this parallel lifetime. And I believe now, after our discussion, that we were actually healing that in this time now for that other aspect of ourselves. But the reason that it bled through was because there was this vibrational match to what was going on in this woman's life. So it was a perfect parallel for what was happening in her life now. And that's why she had this awareness, because she was matching that frequency of it. So I think by addressing it in our session, we actually were able to heal both of those existences.
Yeah, I think that's an important point too. Is we have these parallel lives, existences going on, and a lot of the time we have the same themes happening in them. Some of them might not be at this time, but when it bleeds through, we'll have that same vibration. So we'll be experiencing it to help our soul's growth in this time, and then as well as something we might be kind of bleeding through on another existence of ours, and that we'll be fixing in their time. So whenever we do any kind of healing work, it's greatest for our all of our souls, like collective, like that we are living simultaneously, is lifting it up. That's why it's good to keep on your healing, keeping on the work, the inner work, so we can keep that all of our existences, flowing forward in a very like positive way.
You said a really good thing earlier. One of the questions that you can ask yourself is, why am I aware of this now? Instead of like, oh my gosh, you gotta have to figure out this other lifetime, I have to figure all this. It's your life now. It's stuff that's coming up in your life now that you need to address. So that's why it's happening for you now. Do you want to talk about your running thing? Why that?
Yeah. So I get a lot of messages and a lot of downloads and stuff while I run. So I was running this morning and I felt like a stabbing sharp pain behind my shoulder blade. It's not common with runners, type things that they experience while running, and it was very direct, and I was like, woo, like what is this? I was putting some focus and attention there, and what I received some information, it was me being stabbed in the back or being betrayed, and it had nothing to do with this kind of life, this existence that I have right now, but it was happening in real time in another kind of existence. So instead of, oh man, is this mine? I knew it wasn't mine. It didn't feel like mine. But what I did was then I sent love to that existence, and I sent love to the people that might be betraying that part of me, because in some time or another I did feel that betrayal or that stabbing in the back. So I knew what was needed at that time. So I knew to send that to the other existence of me that was, parallel. So that's just kind of an example of, kind of being aware of these things, because then I know that I set that timeline right.
And ironically enough, that was given to her at that time, so we could make this video right now.
Yeah, it just it like sent off like a kind of a synopsis, like a chain of events where like boop 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 boop, and like everything started to make sense, and it's really been unfolding beautifully. And this message needed to be out there with focusing on our present parallel lives to get us in the present and, yes, possible futures, as opposed to being stuck in the past, and that dragging behind. It feels like sometimes we can just camp there, when instead we should be like, present moment, what's happening now, what can we do now to get to said future.
Yeah. So someone asked about the future lives. It goes back into this: no past, no future, just now. What do you want to create for your future? The future is dynamic. It's constantly changing. It's changing with each choice that you make in each given moment. What version of you do you want to align with? They all exist. So even if you did a future life hypnosis, you'd be shown a potential future. That's all the time. You can really have all those experiences, and it's just a matter of choosing which ones that you actually want.
Yeah. So how can this be beneficial? Why should people, seek this out or start to look at it with this lens? Like, what, you know, like how could they start this? What could they do? Um, you know, why is this useful and beneficial and of value going forward? Forward.
Just like anything, what are you going to use with this? What are you going to take from that experience? How are you going to use this? How are you going to apply this to your life? And once you can bring it back to that present moment, you don't have to go through this big process of, oh, where did this come from? What happened here? Oh, how did I die in that lifetime? It's simpler than that. Okay, and that's the big takeaway. It doesn't have to be this big, huge thing, because you can heal it in real time. Once you're aware of it, once you know how the game works, it's so much easier because, okay, what do I need from this? All right, and you can process it. So it really can be that easy.
Yeah, going back to like the pain in my back, once I was aware of it, once I was able to focus on it and direct some of that love and some of that healing, it went away instantly. It was gone, absolutely gone. So I think, that is definitely the healing part. And also, it's getting your power back. Like, you are that powerful to do that, in all of your different lifetimes. That's the reason that we're here, is for that soul's growth, for that uplifting, and to know that we are this powerful to create whatever we want to create.
Mm-hmm. So just like anything, what are you going to do with it? If you do healing work, start to think about things in terms of parallel lives, focusing on the present rather than dragging people back through the past. And I'm even going to have to sit back and reflect on this and think of how I'm going to incorporate more of this into my healing work. Um, and yeah, just love to hear your thoughts on some of that too. But kind of reframing the way that we look at soul retrieval, the way that we looked at healing past, that kind of work. Um, so we can be with people that pass away. What do you mean? So there's a question that's saying, are you saying that timelines in the past exist now? If so, we can be with people that passed away. Um, you can be with them in different form. Like, you're never really gone. So the spirit form of you, the soul form of you is the true form of you. And it's having this human experience, what a lot of cultures call like the dream state, or so this reality doesn't even exist in this form that we think it does. Like, this is the game here. Okay, so not really sure you understand your question, but yes, like, people that pass away didn't pass away. There's just aspects of their soul that came through that way.
Yeah.
So,
I've done some
right.
healing work too with people who have healed like um different timelines of things that have happened in their family, so they can, go back and meditate or do some healing work with, like, a sister they haven't talked to in months, or a parent they haven't talked to. And once you kind of set those things in motion and, put your awareness and healing intention on that, like, things really do start to shift.
And once again, don't take our word for it. Try it out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look forward to seeing you on the next video, and thanks again for watching, guys.